All right. Good evening, everyone. We will begin. In compliance with the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, I call this meeting of the Manor Independent School District to order on.
February 23rd, 5 p.m.
Let the record show that a quorum is present. This meeting has been duly called, and notices of this meeting have been posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Closed session. The board will now adjourn into executive session at
5:01 p.m.
pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.129. Right.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Good evening, everyone. We will now reconvene into open session at,
6:18 PM.
let the record show that a quorum is present. Before we continue, I would like to take a moment of silence as our team of 8 has lost a team member, Dr. Mary Thomas, and she recently passed on February 14th. She was a great asset to our community and a member that built a strong team of 8. If you would join us, please, in a moment of silence. Thank you. The board will be having a resolution that we will be signing. We didn't get to make it on time for the agenda, but we will be signing that tonight and sharing that in public at her funeral on Saturday. We will continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, we're proud to welcome students from Lagos Elementary School who represent the discipline, pride, and tradition of their campus colors guard. These students play an important role in upholding ceremonial traditions and ensuring that all flag guidelines are honored with respect and care. Please join me in welcoming Lizzie Hardy, Aiden Lockett, Liliana Mora, and Alvaro Duque de Estrada as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Okay, if I would have one of our board members volunteer for the vision statement.
Madam President,
Trustee Rodriguez-Barnett.
Manor ISD is the best district in Texas where we provide an equitable education for all scholars and graduate them ready to become leaders in our community.
Thank you, trustee Rodriguez Barnett. Do I have a volunteer for the mission statement? I have a volunteer.
Yep.
Trustee Patterson.
Collectively, as a community, Manor ISD provides equitable resources, a safe learning environment, and high-quality educational services for all students to successfully achieve and reach their full potential.
Thank you, trustee Patterson. We'll move on to number 6, recognition. 6.1, January and February scholar recognition.
So hello, trustees and Dr. Sermani. Me and our communications intern are happy to present tonight's scholar and staff recognitions. So to kick things off, we're just going to explain how this will happen. So once your name is called, if you could stand to the left, and then once you'll walk over here, shake the hands of our trustees. And once that's done, if you could, Cynthia, can you wave your hand for me? If you could just wait right there until your achievement is recognized, and then we'll go ahead and take an individual photo or a group photo, and then we'll head outside and take some individual photos as well. So let's get started. We'll kick things off with Manor New Tech High School student Joshua Ria. Joshua has been selected to the Texas All-State Choir, one of the highest honors a student musician can earn in our state. Joshua is only the second student in Manor ISD history and the second from Manor New Tech High School to receive this distinction. Selection to the All-State Choir requires students to advance through a highly competitive and audition process that evaluates vocal performances, sight reading, and musical interpretation, with only the top musicians in Texas earning a place. Come on over, Joshua. You're the solo. Get you squished in a little bit more. Looks great on 3, 1, 2, and 3. One more time, 1, 2, and 3. Congratulations, Joshua. Next, we are proud to recognize Manor Excel Academy student Paulina Soto for earning statewide recognition for artistic talent. Paulina's artwork, Kinetic, has been selected for the Texas Art Education Association Youth Art Month Spring Exhibition, a juried showcase featuring exceptional student artwork from across Texas. Her piece will be displayed at the Bullock, Texas State History Museum throughout the month of March, with the awards ceremony scheduled for later this month. We have one more celebration, a special celebration here tonight. Is Gabby Cerda here? For those of you who didn't catch the KVU story, we want to acknowledge and show our appreciation for Gabby's dedication to our students. In October 2023, Gabby noticed some concerning symptoms when a 5th grader named Emilio Zuniga visited the nurse's office several times, and she encouraged his mother to seek medical care. That guidance led to an early cancer diagnosis and treatment that provided critical care. After nearly 3 years of recovery, we are happy to share that Emilio rang the celebrational bell in January, surrounded by his classmates, staff, and family to celebrate that he was cancer-free. Come on up, Gabby. Thank you. And so now we head to our staff of the month. We are doing January and February, so we'll have quite a bit of staff. So again, for those of you who are here, once your name is called, please come to the front, shake the hands of our trustees, and just wait by Cynthia. And then once everyone's done, we'll go ahead and take a big group photo. So let's get started. From Blake Manor Elementary School, for January, Jenny Luong, GT Coordinator, and Magdalena Fajardo, Custodian. For February, it's Israel Mierto, Special Ed Teacher, and Joanna Moran, Kindergarten Long-Term Sub. From Bluebonnet Trail Elementary School, for January, we have Joseph Mitchell, 3rd grade teacher, and Maria Diaz, pre-K. For February, we have Andres Loemi, 4th grade math teacher, and Yanaya McKinney, TA. From the Child Development Center, we have Shakira Ekibam, Daycare Associate, and for February, we have Samira Butler, Daycare Associate. For Decker Elementary School, we have Muna Hassan, kindergarten teacher, Nancy Gonzalez, registrar, and for February, we have Hortensia Mendez, resource and inclusion teacher, and Gracela Reyes, associate, ECCE associate. From Lagos Elementary School, we have Demetria McLean, 3rd grade teacher, and Luz Garcia, registrar. And for February, we have Melissa Esquivel and Lorena Guandarilla, SLE teacher assistant. For Oak Meadows Elementary School, for January, Abigail Morales, 1st grade teacher, and Dennis Rodriguez, police officer. And for February, we have Yesenia Villegas, 5th grade bilingual teacher, and Tiffany Berry, instructional coach. For Pioneer Crossing Elementary School, we have Alvaro Campoy, 4th grade teacher, Maria Martinez, custodian, and for February, we have Gracela Munoz, kindergarten teacher, and Wendy Boatwright, GT K through 5th. For Presidential Meadows Elementary School, for January, we have Maria Pagan, 4th pre-K teacher, pre-K4 teacher, and Carmen Gonzalez, head custodian. And for February, we have Danica Dimanculangan, 5th grade teacher, and Alondra Romero, pre-K4 bilingual. For Shadow Glen Elementary School, for January, Maritza Becerra, 3rd grade teacher, and Chelsea Herrera, senior administrative associate. For February, we have Colette Terrell, PE K through 5th, and Annette Campos, custodial services. For Manor Rise Academy, for January, we have Chelsea Kanu, 3rd grade math teacher, and Lauren Hofschneider, special ed assistant. For February, we have Claire Hodgkin, 7th through 8th grade science teacher, and Robert Rios, custodial services. For Decker Middle School, we have Rodney Fajans, PE coach, Sherry Dizanowski, attendance associate. For February, we have Jeffrey Arsenal, 6th through 8th grade science inclusion teacher, and Otilia Estrada, lead custodian. For Manor New Tech Middle School, we have Donald Gozard, band director, and Nettie Guerrero, instructional aide. For February, we have Trisha Meredith, special education teacher, and Danielle Pauly, registered nurse. For Manor Excel Academy, we have Dejan Koshin, science teacher, and Christina Steigers, nurse assistant. And for February, we have Kathleen Harris, secondary ELA, and Dion Mays, truancy specialist. From Manor High School, for January, we have Sarah Wilson, a teacher, and Celeste Gonzalez, support staff. And for February, we have Herschel Johnson, SLA, and Tara Johnson, SLE aide. And for our final campus, Manor New Tech High School, January, Wendy Dallaire, English teacher, Olga Mosqueda, food service department. And for February, Joseph Morganroth, 9th through 12th grade PA athletics, and Dainira Garcia, police officer. So if you didn't get to hear Cynthia, if you're a little shorter, let's have you in the front. If you're a little taller, we'll have you in the back. Oh. Awesome. The closer you guys can get, the better. And again, if you're a little shorter in the front, taller in the back. And I will let you know how we look, guys. Okay, if we can squish in just a little bit more, so at these corners at the ends, I'm not quite getting you, so the closer you can get. Okay, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time, 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you guys. Congratulations.
All right. So now we're going to move on to 7, public forum. Mr. Martinez, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We do. Currently, I have 3.
Miss Cynthia, do we only have 3, is that correct? Okay. Oh, I got the text. Yeah.
For each person present in the boardroom who wishes to address the board, you will have 3 minutes to speak. There are timers on each of the screens and one in front of you. I, the board secretary, will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining. Because of the topic posting requirements of Open Meetings Act, board members are not permitted to answer any questions posed to the board by the patron. And no action can be taken on any issue presented during this time. Due to this being a regular board meeting, you will be allowed to speak on any topic, whether it is on the agenda or not, that is relevant to district business or affairs. If you wish to ask questions of the board, you may submit them in writing, addressed to the superintendent's office, and the board may consider them at a subsequent meeting. If you are an employee or employee's representative, please be advised that the grievance policy deadlines are not waived. If you have any documents to pass out to the board, please identify those documents and provide them to the board secretary. Finally, please be aware that the rules of decorum will be enforced during the public comment period, as noted in policy BED regulations. Each participant is legally responsible for the content and consequences of their statements. First, I hope I'm saying the last name correct, Alejandra Montelongo. Longo?
Hello, board members and Dr. Sormani. My name is Alejandra Montelongo, and I have been working as a pre-K bilingual teacher for 14 years. 8 of those have been here for Manor ISD. Today, I come to you as a fierce advocate for all our students, and most importantly, as a mother of, hopefully, a future Mustang. Since the decimation of milk, my students haven't had books in their hands. That was 2 years ago. I understand that our district is currently in crisis. I understand that a priority is to get our test scores up to prevent something that hopefully we can prevent, but this goal will never happen if our students can't even have basic access to a librarian and books. The data speaks for itself. It's evident that there is a direct correlation between lack of access to a librarian and books and our literacy scores going down. Having a librarian in all our libraries is not a luxury. It's a basic need. It's a basic need just like having a custodian, a principal, an instructional specialist. I love this community that I serve and that I live in, but I cannot, in good faith, send my only child to a school district that doesn't prioritize a basic need of reading? The entire point of pre-K is early intervention. How can I help my campus raise their literacy scores if we don't even have a literature to read? If staffing all our libraries with the librarian is an impossible task for our upcoming school year, then at least consider providing our principals with a budget that will allow them to temporarily hire a paraprofessional to help run the libraries. This will at least allow students to have access to books in the meantime until a librarian can be hired for each campus. Reading is the gateway to knowledge, and knowledge is the gateway to freedom. Reading gave me the opportunity that generations in my family before did not have. And every student in this school district, including my son, deserve the same
1
opportunity.
minute.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next up is Texas Coalition for Change.
Good evening, Manor ISD School Board. My name is Candace Cooper, and I am here with Texas Coalition for Change. Also with me is Pam Wade and Lakeisha Small. We're here to read a resolution into the record in regards to the passing of Dr. Mary L. Thomas. In loving memory of Dr. Mary L. Thomas, Manor ISD School Board District Board of Trustee. Well done, good and faithful servant, Matthew 25:23. Whereas in the divine providence of Almighty God, we saw fit to call from labor to eternal rest his faithful servant, Dr. Mary L. Thomas, a devoted trustee of Manor ISD, whose life was marked by dignity, conviction, and unwavering commitment to public education. And whereas Dr. Thomas dedicated her service to the children and families of Manor ISD, standing firmly for educational excellence, equity, and opportunity, believing that every child deserves access to a quality education and a future filled with promise, and whereas she led with courage and grace. And I'm going to say that again, courage and grace. Guided by principle rather than popularity, and committed herself to thoughtfulness, governance, transparency, and commitment and community engagement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Texas Coalition for Change pauses in solemn remembrance and profound gratitude for the life and legacy of Dr. Mary Thomas, and extends its heartfelt condolences to her family, the Manor ISD community, and all who were blessed to know and serve alongside her. And be it therefore further resolved that we commit ourselves to carrying forth the mantle of advocacy, integrity, and servant leadership that she so faithfully demonstrated, honoring her memory through continued service to our community. Respectfully adopted this 28th day of February, 2026. Texas Coalition for Change Board of Directors, Pamela Wade, Candace Wade Cooper, Elmer Fisher Jr., Marlon Thomas, and Lakeisha Small. We have provided a copy for the board secretary for records. Also, we will provide the family a copy at the funeral services. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to move on.
I have one more.
Oh,
Next up is Rachel Petit. Is that correct?
Hello, everyone. You probably know my face. I've been in this community for 29 years, serving and bringing my child here. Hello, community. Those of you out in YouTube land, I am here speaking on behalf of all the readers and all the students of Manor ISD that deserve access to books. My calls to action are access to books on every campus for everyone, and have the library open with a key to let people in. Fully staffed libraries on every campus, as would match our vision and mission to have equitable education. And I've included a research article that was published 2 months ago in the Ed Week based on the American Association of School Librarians research. Schools are desperate right now to boost our reading scores and digital fluency. But we are dismantling the one environment in our schools that can cultivate both of those. The library is designed to do that. Librarians are not gatekeepers of books or materials. We collaborate and we coach. We are teachers. We have teaching degrees. We have to have teaching experience. When the policy conversations are going on, I feel that librarians are left out of that conversation. When you're debating about learning loss, please try not to turn to just tutoring programs and digital interventions. Turn to the library, use our skills, use our resources. A well-staffed modern library directly supports academic recovery. My call to action again, our call to action is for access to books on every campus for everyone, parents, families, staff, students. All libraries on every campus open and fully staffed with a highly qualified staff member. Just as we partner with many of our universities to bring in bilingual teachers, we can be partnering with Texas State to bring in librarians, University of Texas, University of North Texas, Texas A&M, Sam Houston State University, Texas Women's University, and University of Houston all have librarian programs. We should be reaching out to them for student teaching, librarian student teachers, and for staffing our libraries to make them know that Manor ISD wants librarians and reading and to improve literacy in our community. Think about our low-performing campuses. If more people and students were able to have access to just read, what would that do? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now, we're going to move on to 8, closed session action items. Point 1, consideration and approval of educator Chapter 21 contract abandonment.
Madam President,
Yes.
I move that the board approve there is not good cause to support Shakira Parrish's resignation from her position at Manor ISD.
I have a motion by trustee Patterson. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by trustee Dr. Lowry. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 9, superintendent update, Dr. Sarmani. 9.1, safety, student safety update.
Thank you, President Cortez. I know it just feels a little different because we have an
know.
empty seat up here. At the same time, I also know that my partner right here, she wanted us to go forward and do the work. So as you articulated earlier, so that's what we're going to do. We'll start off with something near and dear to our heart. Let's talk about safety. I want to let everybody know and the community know for over a year now, we have been talking about recommendations that were made after the tragic Manor High School, and I'm proud to say that we have done every single one of those recommendations has been completed except for those needing bond money. So those are completed. I want to thank the maintenance team and the construction team and the police for enacting all those recommendations to the best of their ability. Second, if you didn't know, next time you go to Manor High School, you may see a very different weapons detection system there. The new generation is already deployed there and at New Tech High School. The kids and the staff report that it works better, and that's exactly what we wanted. So you will also recall from way back when, we have been waiting for the new generation so that we can start exploring the middle school level, and we are moving on to that phase now. There is still bond money that you allocated that can pay for those, and so now we are going to, now that we've worked out the kinks at the high school level, we'll begin to start looking at deploying it at the middle school level as well. And then, oh, that's And that's the end of that. District vulnerability assessment. As you recall, we did do a district vulnerability assessment. It was completed by the Texas Education Agency in December. Also, I think a point of pride for us, they have several thousand different things that they can find that could be wrong, and they told us 81 of them out of thousands. And I think the team did a wonderful job. It just shows about all the work they've been doing to get at that point. And then just so the public knows, the school board was briefed in closed session on these items, and so they are aware of it. And trustees, we are due to have almost everything completed by March 13th. And so just to give you an update on that. And some points of pride. This little video there, it's a little dated, but just wanted to see what it was like on the ice days for some of us. That would be Mr. Shedd swinging a sledgehammer trying to get the ice so that we could run buses. So if anyone wanted to know why we had to take an extra day off, that's it right there. That's our transportation center. So we were literally iced in over there and trying to figure out how we can get the buses out, and it just wasn't going to happen. So, but I do want to thank, because you don't get to see it, we had a lot of people working even when other people were off. And so thank you to the Transpo, the maintenance staff that was up at 4 a.m. de-icing.
Wow.
And of course, Mr. Mendez met me out at transportation when he told me we can't roll the buses, so I had to go see for myself, and yeah, pretty much. So, also want to thank, a shout out to our Lady Titans. I think Mr. Garcia's already left. They were by-district champs. I believe that they went further in the playoffs than any New Tech athletic team has gone. They got to the area championships. They lost to Mr. Mendez's hometown of Carrizo Springs. We're giving him a hard time about that. But the girls did a great job. They are also almost entirely not seniors, meaning most of the team is coming back. So you get a chance to see them again next year. So keep an eye out for them. Next up is the next item, Madam President.
9.3, future bond election.
And this is mine too. Sorry, I got myself confused.
I know it's yes.
It's just off today. So, and trustees, this is posted online, and I'm sure a lot of people can see it, so I'm not going to read through everything. I'm just going to give quick highlights. I think the most important thing to speak to is where we were. We obviously had a bond fail in November 2025. There was a lot of work done by the communications team to get some data back on why it failed. We talked to some other vendors out there who gave us some free services to give us some insight. It was all very consistent, and this gives you a little bit of an idea of what the issues were. And I think the most important thing here is most people did not have issues with what was in the bond. The issues were more centered around whether this was good economic decision or not. Now, I'm saying that regardless of the fact that we know up here that it wasn't going to raise taxes, but there was a lot of confusion on what was on the ballot that said it was going to raise taxes. And so there was a lot of focus on that. So this is just a reminder. This is actually the same slide that's been popping up here for a while. I just want to remind everybody that just because a bond fails doesn't mean all the needs went away. And in fact, they get more expensive and there's more of them. And so nothing has changed. You can see that right now inflation is running at about a 4% in construction cost. So the $300 million bond now costs more. That is how it is. And so we need to be prepared for that. There's also a number of safety projects that we don't have funding for. Blue Bond Elementary School is obviously a concern. And student staff technology devices are beginning to fail at a faster and faster rate. And we are going to have to do some things about this long term. And that's why along we're going right now, I feel like November 2026 is the best time for us to potentially call an election. Now, trustees, you won't need to formally talk about that and vote on it till August. That's the deadline for calling for election. But right now, my standing recommendation is November 2026. Obviously, some things can change, but there are some things driving that way. One of the big ones is our student needs haven't gone away. They're still there, and they're just getting worse. We need the bond election to help us, and these same bond projects just cost more and more the longer we wait. And the sooner we can do this, the sooner I can shift money away from maintenance and operations and shift it into classrooms or to books. But I need a bond. And one thing I'll point out there, we got some data. It appears that only 10% of our staff that was eligible to vote actually voted in the bond election. And I need help with that from my staff. And we need to understand that just because your building isn't affected, it does affect our bottom line and what I can do when it comes to staffing. It really does. And so we need to begin to get that message out there as much as possible. And so I think I'm ending with that. There is still a bond focus group that's going to be meeting. We are looking for bond communication support. We are currently, we actually had our first meeting to review the bond projects so we can start figuring out how much more they're going to cost this time around, and if we need to make any adjustments. And I just want to prepare people because we may need to raise taxes a little bit this time. So this last time we didn't raise taxes, but this time we might because of inflation. I don't know that yet. We have not engaged our financial advisors, but that is something that I'll be doing in the future. But I just want to prepare for people that the longer we wait to do these bonds, the more it's going to cost to get them done. And I'm going to give one last example about it. Right now, fixing Bluebonnet Elementary School is a $25 million fix. At some point, it becomes a $60 million replacement. That's almost triple the cost. And I can't tell you when that is. It's just when the systems begin to go into total failure. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying it's happening next year. It will happen someday. But that's just a stark example of how we need to go ahead and begin talking about the need for this bond now. So trustees, if you have any questions about that, I know you've all reviewed it previously, but I'm open to any questions you might have.
Trustee Patterson?
Well, the fact of the matter is replacing Bluebonnet Elementary will be $60 million today. In the future, it's going to be more than $60 million. I was highly disappointed that the bonds failed. There was no fluff in that bond, even though it was $328 million or so. Every high school deserves a theater. One of our high schools doesn't have a theater. All of our students and all of our staff deserve technology that's up to date, that can be updated. That was another proposition of the bond. Then the vast majority of the bond was actually infrastructure. And we were very transparent in telling people we were not raising the tax rate. That's what we have authority over. We did the very best we could for your children. It was highly disappointing that all of the propositions failed. And so again, if we have to, unfortunately, raise taxes again, we won't be shy in conveying that message. We will try to do it again without raising taxes for sure, but no promises.
Thank you, Trustee Patterson. I would like to add, it is very important, imminent, I would say imminent, because public education's under attack, period. We don't get funded. We're getting a lot of unfunded mandates. Legislations next year, I think this could be our last opportunity. I don't know if you keep up with the legislator, but during this whole time, even years, how many years did it take to pass vouchers? Several legislative sessions. Now, people in this past legislation were trying to pass legislation where it almost is impossible for school districts to pass bonds. Like literally they were trying to pass legislation where you have to pass it by 65% or something like that. So I think this could be, if we don't have the right people advocating for us at legislator, this could literally be our last opportunity to really do something for our district in passing a bond. So I think it's very imminent that we really educate ourselves and our neighbors, our colleagues, everyone, to be able to really advocate for our district and to make sure our educators and our students are safe in the facilities that we have for them. They'll learn better. There's just so much positive incentive in doing that. But this is really imminent and important. We don't know what next year is going to bring. We don't know if we're ever going to be able to pass a bond again. So please share that message. Please support us. And I think that's all I have to say on that part.
I have one small thing.
Yes.
So I also agree with the sentiment. It's imperative that we get this next bond. Although I will say that the 10% number of employees is kind of surprising, and I think that it would behoove us not to find out why. Was it misinformation? Was it we didn't get the information out right? Why did only 10%? Because if you realize that if the amount of votes needed to pass that bond, we should have almost been able to do it just with the people that work here. So why didn't they support it?
Good question. Go ahead, Dr. Sherman.
And I'll tell you, we can explore it more. We have a focus group coming up with employees on it, so we can get some more understanding from what that is. I don't want to try to speak off the top of my head, but I'll wait for that focus group to get back to you.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, I'll move on to 10 information item. Before we continue, I know I've asked people that come to speak to the board to refer us as Team of 8. For now, I know we don't have our complete team. Just refer us as Mighty Team or Manor Team. You know, that would be okay if that's okay. But we don't have our Team of 8, so. $10.1, third Future Schools Progress Report.
Good morning, Mighty Manor Leadership Team, or good afternoon. You got me shook up now too. It is actually the evening. As you know, we've entered into an 1882 partnership with Third Future Schools with Manor Middle School, and we have Zach Craddock here tonight, the superintendent of schools, and he'll be presenting a progress update for Manor Middle School, and I'd like to invite him and his team up right now.
And Mr. Craddock, I just want to thank you for your patience. We have actually had to cancel him 2 straight meetings, and so he actually does not live locally, and so I appreciate you coming down for this meeting. It shows your seriousness. Thank you.
No problem, sir. Thank you very much. Madam President, trustees, Dr. Sramani, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I'd like to introduce, well, first, I'm standing in for Mr. Jeremiah Willis. So he's at a conference in Houston right now. So he would usually be here joining me, but standing in for him. But I do have his assistant principals, Ms. Adeline Craddock and Ms. Christina Purvell. So I will be brief and short to make sure you have plenty of time for questions. First, we always talk and start off with this visual to your left-hand side. This is our action plan. We have 7 key actions that drive our behaviors and actions across the network. To the top right, you have our vision and mission, and then on the bottom, our 6 core beliefs that drive our daily behaviors as well across all 12 campuses, which you'll see on this slide. We currently operate 2 campuses in Colorado, 4 in Louisiana, and 6 1882 partnerships here in Texas. Our first partnership being Sam Houston in 2020 with the Midland ISD. Next up, you'll see our MOI, our NWA map growth data. So you'll see all 12 campuses currently represented on this slide. The average was 1.1 years of growth in 4.5 months, and you'll see it broken down by content area there on the far right in the black box. And then the orange box there is our 4 new campuses that we've opened up for the 25-26 academic year. And I'm proud to say that Manor Middle School was the big winner at 1.9 years of growth in 4.5 months. You'll see it broken down in science was overall at 1.4. And then, I'm sorry, ELA was, am I reading that right? Yeah, 2 years of growth. Math was 1.4, and science was 2 years of growth. What I'm really happy about is if you look at the bottom right-hand side, is that average percentile point increase was 8 points. If we can get that growth again and that achievement, that'll be 16 percentile points. That is exceptional, not only growth, but actually status there when you look at this assessment, the NWA map there. Any questions on that before I briefly go over subpopulation data that was requested? Moving on to subpop. We break it down, you'll see our ethnicity breakdown there. Then we're going into school-wide growth. We break that down, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, whole school, and the United States average. Moving then to the percent of students who grew at least 0.7 years. So that's really our target, is we want 0.7 years of growth by Christmas, by our winter break. We test the second week of December this year, because third week we were made makeups. And you'll see how this breaks down amongst the subpopulations there. Doing well at the higher grade levels. So the higher we go up in 7th and 8th, we are seeing better growth amongst all of our subpopulations. And that is to be expected because those students are usually further behind as they matriculate through the K-12 system. Then we go to, this is our subpopulation data. Again, this is grade level, percent of students who are already at grade level. So you can see. Moving next, we have gender. This is just male versus female. It's going to be the same demographic data. You'll see the school-wide growth. Again, trending upwards as you matriculate from 6th, 7th to 8th. The percent of students who grew at least 0.7 years. And then lastly, the students who are already at grade level based on gender. Next, we have our emergent bilingual. So 50% emergent bilingual, for 50% are native English speakers. Again, you'll see their growth, and that trend continues. It's a little bit higher in 8th grade ELA than it is in 8th grade math, but you'll see our school-wide growth for emergent bilingual versus non. And again, the percent of students who grew at least 0.7 years in 4 months. Finishing up with the percent of students who are already at grade level or above. 2 more populations to break down is our special education. We have 19% of our student population at Manor has an IEP. So they're students with disabilities. And as we look at this here, we have some really, really good areas, such as our 8th grade ELA, such as our 8th grade math, 8th grade science, 7th grade science, 7th grade ELA, 6th grade science, where our special education populations are achieving or growing at, or they're beating their non-disabled peers. We've got to look and do some research on 6th grade ELA and 6th grade math. Look at those IEPs. Are we really targeting in that area in ELA? It's more going to be on the fluency and comprehension piece. On the math, it's going to be on math fluency and automaticity. And so we're working on that every day in our warm-ups with Web Math Minute, where we're really focusing on that math fluency and automaticity so that students, you can't do slope of a line if you're still doing multiplication on your fingers. Now, slope of a line is a concept, but you have to have that math automaticity and fluency in order to get that concept right. You can understand rise over run, but if you can't compute it, you're not going to get it correct. So we're working on that daily. Next slide is the percent of students, again, special populations, or special education, who grew at least 0.7 years. And the percent who are already at grade level, that should not be high because they are qualified for an IEP. If students on an IEP or were already at grade level, then we have an over-identification issue. So this is what it should look like.
Is this also y'all students with 504s?
No. So 504s would not qualify under special education. We could pull that data for you. That number is usually going to be dramatically lower than a traditional IEP, so a student that actually has a disability, a categorized disability, 504s would be separate.
Can we get that data?
Yes, we can pull that for you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Lastly, we have our EcoDis. So you'll see we have 83% EcoDis, 17% are not. And again, broken down into the growth. You can see those students in the vast majority of areas are growing at or beating their peers. The percent of students who grew at least 0.7 years, again, statistically almost there. We're a little bit behind in 8th grade math. We're a little bit behind in 8th grade science. And then finishing up with the percentage of our EcoDis students who are already at grade level. Any questions on any of that data? I know you've had this information for some time, so I didn't want to go too deep into it.
Trustee Lowry?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, congratulations and thank you for the great work that you've done. Like, as a data person, this definitely excites me as far as the trajectory of Manor Middle School. I noticed that 8th grade science was significantly lower for special education students. Could you speak to why that might be and what your plan is for that specific area and subject?
Yeah, so when we get into 8th grade science, you're getting into more Newton's laws of motion, balancing equations, and it's going to come back to that computation piece. You do have a little conceptual piece there on how to do that. You're looking at that 8th grade science piece, a lot more of concepts and the math, not so much as in like a biology or an earth science. There you're going to have some academic vocabulary. So that's where we're bringing back in with our warm-up, spiraling that back in so we can fix that gap. We're also focusing in on that in our reading math success classes as well. So we're tying in each student's, we've tied their NWA MAP score, their RIT score, into IXL, which creates their personalized pathway, so that if they're struggling in those TEKs, then it's going to address it during reading math success class.
Thank you.
Right, I'll let this team take it over for some school-specific updates.
Good evening, Manor Board. Happy to be here. I'm going to continue with some of our first semester highlights. So as of January, when this PowerPoint was submitted, we were sitting at 456 students. As of today, we are sitting at 466, so our enrollment has gone up slightly. In terms of athletics, we have successfully completed football and volleyball and basketball season as well. We are just now starting into track season as well as soccer tryouts, and we have tennis up and coming. For part 3, we have our habits of success. So that is going to be our incentive for students or positive reinforcement. Some of that might include for their rewards is snacks on Fridays. We also do lunch on a principle where we go to our local Whataburger, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, everything the kids love, and we buy them lunch on us. We also have our free dress passes for students. That way they get out of the dress code, those colors, as long as it's school appropriate, of course. And then free seating during lunchtime, so students are able to sit with their friends. And this is something they can earn throughout the day from their teachers, from their admin, staff on campus. That's just a positive incentive to get them involved.
Good evening. To continue on with some highlights from the first semester, we've hosted a variety of parent and community engagement events. As you can see up there, more recently we've been able to add 6th grade night for the up-and-coming rising 5th graders from all of Manor to attend, to meet their teachers, to see how we run classrooms. So we hosted that about 2 weeks ago. And additionally, we have a lot of dyad opportunities. So these are classes that are actually run by members within the community that really hone in on student interests. So right now we are holding MMA, cosmetology, photography, and art, and we've actually been able to expand this opportunity based on student interest by adding extra art members to lead more personalized instruction, as well as a fitness class led by coaches within the community.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious. What is the attendance on the event? Like, say, for parent night, and then the attendance on the opportunities you have. I'm just curious.
Absolutely, it varies. More recently, we've noticed a slight decline in attendance. For our parent night and the science fair, we did have a lot of active members. I'm not sure of the exact number, but they're open to anyone. We just haven't noticed a huge increase of people attending. Mm-hmm. Trunk or treat, yes, trunk or treat. We had a large turnout. Lots of families came, a lot of students and members throughout the entire community came. We opened it up to everyone. That was probably our most successful one. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's something we're constantly trying to do better is message with not just our parents, but community members and stakeholders. So when we talk about our dyad opportunities, that's where local professionals within, so a professional photographer would come in. We buy all the equipment, all the materials, SIM cards, cameras, and then they're teaching that skill, that art, to the students. We need to do a better job of communicating with our dyad so that they can go out and when they participate in church and their community events, they can bring those people in as well. So that's a byproduct of the dyad concept that we've seen since we've started that. So before I open, just for yes, sir.
What is MMA?
Mixed martial arts.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're not sparring.
Okay.
We're not sparring. We're not doing that. We have all the dummies and the bags and the gloves and all that. So we try. What we've really built this out since 2021. We used to do Taekwondo, a lot of karate. The kids like MMA. Our two most popular from 5th to 8th grade is MMA and cosmetology by far in all of our campuses. Now, I like to see a martial arts there because I think there's other, it teaches discipline and structure, character. And so those are all part of our habits of success that Ms. Purvell talked about, part of our 7 habits of success that we're constantly rewarding kids. That's our positive behavior support system. We try to not just wrap that around instruction. We wrap that around athletics. We wrap that around dyad, everything we do across the campus. Before I open questions, I just want to, publicly thank not just this team, but the entire faculty and staff at Manor Middle. The growth that you saw, 1.9 years of growth, just under 1.9. That's almost tracking for 4 years of growth. That is really good. That's very, very impressive. And to do that, year 1, coming in, building a strong culture, getting the instruction right. I'm honored that every Friday they get their data, every school, everybody sees each other's data every Saturday morning. And we've got a great leadership team there that is really on top of monitoring instruction, so the quality of feedback, the leadership and culture. But we also have a staff that shows up. When I track a teacher attendance, they're in the top 3 of teacher attendance across all 12 campuses that we operate. And that's what's making a difference for the students is 184, not 184 school days, 184 effective school days. So I just thank the staff and faculty and staff. They're doing a tremendous job, and I know they're going to keep it up. So, questions?
I don't have any more questions, but I just want to convey my gratitude as well to the staff for the hard work that you're doing and the results that we're seeing. And also to just let you know that community members have reached out to me and they specifically say their kids really like the dyads. So it's been awesome to hear their perspectives and the things their kids are really enjoying about Manor Middle School.
That's good to hear. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you, and thank you for adjusting your schedule.
No, my pleasure.
Well, we're not used to snow down here, and I know you are, so.
I'm trying to convince my wife to move to Texas. I still have a daughter living up in Colorado, so she's not quite ready to leave yet, but I'm tired of the snow too.
Colorado.
I'm tired of the snow too.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate the time.
very much. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to 10.2, taper report, public hearing. Dr. Williams-Hill.
Good evening, team.
Good evening.
We had a short board meeting in January, so we did not get to publicly say Happy Board Appreciation Month to you all. So Happy Board Appreciation Month.
Thank you.
So this evening, we do have an update for you for the 24-25 school year taper report. And as usual, it has 8 sections. And on our first section, one of the first areas of note is our special education determination status. It improved over the year from 2023 to 2024. What that means is our special programs department did a lot of good work from between 2023 and 2024. And in the areas of science, we went from one level to the next, I believe from a 4 to a 3. For our EOC biology, we went from a 2 to a 1 designation. And for our special education annual dropout rate, we went from a level 2 to 0 on a scale from 0 to 4. So that contributed to us going from needs substantial intervention to needs intervention. The next slide, very quickly, participation remained steady. In the green highlights, you will see areas of improvement over the year 2023 to 2024. Where you see light yellow, that means the area stayed consistent with the previous year. For our STAR performance, all grade levels, all subjects combined. The same color coding. We have pockets of growth from one year over the next. Light yellow. The data remain the same from 2024 school year to 2024-2025. Same thing for all grades, reading, language, arts. For math, we had quite a few areas of growth year over year, and the meets are above and masters. Saw some big improvements in science in the meets or above categories. Some of them we had double-digit gains year over year. For social studies, we had some pockets of growth as well. For our graduation rates, we're steadily seeing our numbers increase. For our graduation rates, they are rated from 4 years from the time a student enters 9th grade through 12th grade, and we have the option to keep updating our graduation rates as students earn those credits. For our CCMR data, I'll pause here and let you take a look at the chart. We did some updates to the numbers. One of the areas of notes that we talked about during the 2023-2024 report was that our IBC numbers were in the 30%. We also talked about TEA sunsetting some of the programs that year, and Manor ISD did not adjust to those, and so that's why we're seeing that change in number from 33%, I believe it was, to 11.5%. And so that has since been corrected. Even though this is the 2024-2025 school year report, the financial report goes back a year from 2023-2024. And so what you will see in the financial report is part of the reason that we made all of the adjustments that we made financially the 2024-2025 school year. So you see some of the notes are the general fund revenues per student we earned were about $10,000. We actually spent a little over $11,000, which is about $800 more than what we took in. Our general fund balance decreased by $10.5 million, and our recapture payments and credits were zero. So for the 24-25 school year, we were still able to present you with a balanced budget that also came along with some cuts that we had to make. And you'll see some more data as to what attributed to that $800 more per student expenditure. We did receive still, I think, the 2023-2024 school year, we had a score of 90. For 2022-2023 had a score of 90. For 23-24 had a score of 92, still maintaining a superior achievement rating of A on the first report. Our accreditation status remains accredited. And each of our campuses have their campus improvement plans on their websites, as well as on the district website. We have the district improvement plan. We do have Section 5, our report on violent or criminal incidents. We did notice that in the first column under Manor High School, Manor Senior High School, we did have one miscoding with the illegal knife. And we also had another miscoding on Lake Manor Elementary. And these are required by law to be recorded, federal law. Here's a summary of the different types of services that we provide for students as resources or interventions. And then in section 6, we have our post-secondary report that's based upon the 2022-2023 school year. This data is collected by the Texas, or reported by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And what this data does, it tells us by school which of our students at which of our high schools are at what type of college or university and what their GPA is. You will notice for Manor Excel Academy, for that first row, we do not have numbers because when the data is 5 students or fewer, it's not reported. And for section 7, our required postings page has been updated with the 2024-2025 taper information. And in section 8, for anyone who wants to know what all the acronyms mean, those are posted. I'll take any questions that you have.
Do we have any questions or comments from the audience, community? Any questions from our board? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We'll move on to 10.3, CPM number 3, Board Monitoring Report. Dr. Betts.
All right. Good evening again, trustees and superintendent. So I'm here tonight to update you on Constraint Progress Measure 3, which constrains us from allowing any school that is rated an F as of spring of 2025 for more than 1 year without making progress on their numeric overall score. So our goal today is to talk about whether or not we think progress is being made on the campuses that received an F last year. I want to start out with a cautionary note. There is no single assessment on the market that will give us that information with certainty. For that reason, we are going to look at multiple data sets in our presentation, including the STAR interims, iStation Amira, iExcel, our Bluebonnet mathematics module assessments, and kind of look at all of that data to potentially get insights on whether we are making progress or not. We think we are making progress, but I also, to a certain extent, any one of these data sets taken by itself or compared to each other needs to be taken with a grain of salt. And I just want to say that up front before we commence to cheering or celebrating as we continue to do the work. So here we have our 6 campuses that received an F last year. You just received a report from Third Future Schools, some very promising data relative to what's going on at Manor Middle School. I'll be updating you on the other 5 schools. So let's start with Decker Elementary. So here we have Decker. Again, just want to say, I know it's a lot of different data sets in front of you, but no single assessment or data set is going to tell us, hey, we're gonna be fine on STAR. And especially since the pandemic and then STAR 2.0 came out, no product on the market, no organization putting out assessments even purports to have a level of reliability as a predictor of STAR. So that's why we're going to look at a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to say, hey, this provides, we're looking for patterns. We're looking for patterns to get a hint about how we're doing and where we're going. So we're going to look at reading first. And if we go back to the top left and compare Spring Star from the end of last year to the Fall Star interim, pretty soon we'll be bringing you the Spring Star interim information. But if we look at the Fall Star interim for Decker, you see some pretty good looking data for an increase in meets and masters. So, matter of fact, 20 percentage points added on to that masters category. So looking there, looking at that second data set, we've got the Amira reading, got the beginning of your data and the middle of your data. That also indicates a slight increase in the percentage of students that are on track. If you look at that, about 4 percentage points moved from off track, just off track in Tier 4. And whether it's a bunch of students moving over a little bit or a group of students jumping significantly, we do have an increase in of that 4% showing up in Tier 2, which is smack dab in the middle of that 3-tiered area where students are considered to be on track. Looking at our Spanish Amira data for the students who tested in Spanish, that does not correlate with that trend. And there's additional supports needed there, and that also looks similar across the other 2 elementary campuses. I'm going to tell you that up front, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. When we look at math, my team has definitely told me this over and over. It's a stretch to compare our Bluebonnet module assessment data to the Spring Star or to IXL, but it looks like our students are making progress in terms of moving up into those on-track areas in the meets and masters area, above 70%, above 85%. And then if we jump down into the IXL math, beginning of year data, and compare that to the mid-year data, we do see growth in the percent of students that are on track. And so a little bit of growth in that Tier 2, and then kind of the most exciting is looking at that Tier 1, which is the top tier on this assessment with a 10 percentage points of growth. Now, I would caution that I talked to you about this last year when we had iReady, when the scores, I want to look at the growth, not the overall scores, because the overall scores, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you, hey, look, 70% of the students, 73% of the students are on track. Because like last year with iReady, didn't seem to correlate. We had rosy, sunshine, beautiful data last year, and it didn't correlate that well to what happened on STAR. So I'm not going to do that with IXL either. Actually, it was when it came out very high, I was a little disappointed. I'm like, okay, because I'm not going to, I hope and I want, but I don't expect to necessarily see 73% of our students approaching just yet. I think we're moving in that direction, but I don't think we're there yet. But in terms of putting more students into a tier that is considered on track, Decker is making some moves. And so we are hopeful about that. So let's move on. Yes, ma'am. Okay, question? Yes. We did not take the fall math interim. We were, if you'll recall, and now I'm kind of wishing we would have, but I also stick by our decision that we all talked about in looking at how do we moderate the amount of assessments that we are having. Now, I'm of 2 minds at this moment. I wish we had math interim data, but I also feel like we're still over testing at this moment in time over the next month and a half. It's just like testing season. And I still have concerns about the amount of teaching time and minutes of instruction that are lost with all the assessments.
For the reading interim, I know that there's no writing component for the PEA one. Did Manor include a writing component? Is that factored into?
So we did not include a writing component, but as we go into our additional supports for Decker, one of the things I did want to talk to you about is our focus in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade on constructed responses and on working. We have our new director on special assignment not new to the business, but new to us, Jolene Ibarra, who is in the audience. I think she was earlier. And without looking back there she is working. Her job is two campuses, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers at Shadow Glen and Decker Elementary, working on reading and writing. And her focus is on constructive response, extended constructive response, the writing pieces, and how to win in that arena. And she's actually got some videos of some of our teachers that we could share with you. We've been thinking about different ways to share across the system our own teachers and the progress that they're making there. I do want to talk a little bit more about some of the additional supports to accelerate that we've been working on at Decker, because we haven't been waiting around. I know you're privy to most of them, so I might be sharing more for the public, but we've done a bunch of stuff to just continue to be fluid and agile in how we're supporting that campus and ensuring that we do everything we can to see the growth. Number one, as you know, we made a leadership change at that campus mid-year. Number two, we made some personnel moves, and we brought in district personnel to support math instruction in 4th and 5th grade. They're teaching sections of math. Our math coordinator is teaming up with the instructional coach at Decker, who was a master math teacher, still is, it turns out. They're teaching 4th grade math on our campus, and some other of my district coordinators are teaming up to support and teach sections of 5th grade math as well. We brought in one of our top literacy instructional coaches from another campus to teach our 4th grade, to teach reading and writing to our 4th grade bilingual class at Decker Elementary. And we had also added 2 bilingual teaching assistants to support our emergent bilinguals as they continue to work on their proficiency and their learning as well at Decker Elementary. So lots of moves. Papaya tutoring, got them set up. We'll talk a little bit more. I know you've had some questions about Papaya tutoring, so at the last slide, I'll share some more about what's going on with them and progress and some of the hiccups that we've had as well. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on at Decker. So Shadow Glen next. When we look at the data for Shadow Glen, first of all, again, you look at the fall interim and compare that to the spring star, and we see a really interesting pattern, and we've seen this across our district, where our approaches is actually a little bit lower, but our meets and our masters has made a jump, and that kind of played itself out in our TEA visits last week as we watched and looked at 39 out of 42 classrooms that we observed we're using 42 out of 42 were using the district curriculum, which was great. 39 out of 42 were on pace. One of the things that we did see that's still a challenge for us, how do we support the students that are not on, the teachers on pace? Some of the students are falling behind. And how do we continue to refine our interventions so that we can catch them up? Also, when we look at our Amira reading, you kind of see that it's kind of flat. It's not showing the growth, the accelerated growth that we need. It's kind of flat. Our Spanish is really kind of looking like the Spanish testers. We need some additional support, and I'll talk to you about what we've done there. Looking at the math, we do see some consistency. Students are continuing, when we see the scores that are exactly the same on the IXL from BOY to MOI, that indicates that the percentage of students growing or continuing to grow about a year's growth is the same. What I'd like to see growth in that tier 3 and tier 2. We do see 8 percentage points of growth in that tier 1, that highest level of IXL, but we are providing some supports to math as well. I'm going to chat a little bit about those, and it speeds up after the first 2 campuses, I promise. I just want to provide you kind of a pretty comprehensive snapshot of what's going on our two campuses with the highest urgency. So Papaya tutoring, we got over 100 students doing that. We're heading into our 3rd wave of students there. We brought in 2 of our top instructional coaches from other campuses. Again, that has an impact on our other campuses, but we did have 2 ICs that were master mathematics teachers. So we brought them in. One's teaching 4th grade, one's teaching 5th grade. We want to make sure, now we still have the other teachers, the original teachers of record in place in a teaming situation so that not only can we continue to grow them, and they're getting coaching every day, but they are also there to assist with small groups. So once we, for instance, we have a 90-minute math block, 60-minute lesson for Blue Bonnet, and then 30 minutes for small group, reteach, intervention, IXL practice. And so during that 30-minute reteach, we have the original teacher of record in there. We have our IC, our new teacher, our master teacher in there. We're pushing in some additional people. We invested in a bilingual interventionist, an additional bilingual interventionist to come in and support over there. Again, we've got Joe Lynn over there working with our language arts teachers, and we are hoping, so all these additional acceleration supports I'm talking about are since January. And so a lot of that's not going to show up when we took the MOI, they've been here a week and a half. And so as we continue to assess, I'll bring you more information as it becomes accessible. So moving on to Blue Bonnet. Give you a chance to look at the Blue Bonnet data there. Blue Bonnet Trail. See some significant increases right off the bat in the interim fall. 12 percentage points higher on the meets and 21 percentage points higher in the masters in the reading area. Jumping down into the Amira, we do see modest growth in that tier 2 and tier 1. The top 2 tiers, right? So we are Blue Bonnet Trail. Their team is moving students into higher tiers of on-track, on-grade level work. They're doing a little bit better with the Spanish speakers at their campus. They do have one of our only 2-way dual language programs. We need to do some work to strengthen that in the upcoming year. As we look at mathematics, we do see in the IXL data in particular, we see across those 3 tiers of on-track that we have a higher percentage of students that are falling into those areas and that are on track. With our Blue Bonnet supports, again, Papaya Tutoring, of course, and then Blue Bonnet Trail has initiated after-school tutoring with their teachers as well and used some of their Title I money to support their teachers to give additional tutoring, and that's working out really well over there. I haven't really hit on it on the last 2 campuses, but all of our campuses across the district are receiving additional Region 13 supports as well. They came together with us, I think it was right before Christmas, and were very engaged. They initiated the meeting and talked about what supports, could they give us, what additional supports, and so there's been some additional trainings, additional coaching opportunities. So here's the slide with the Decker Middle School data. And the light green, shows there's some pretty good evidence here. Again, I want to say strong, but again, I have to follow my own rule of taking it with a grain of salt. But I think there's some promising evidence of accelerated growth across the board in reading and math at Decker Middle School. And you can see their additional supports this year. I think we're a little aggressive. Papaya and our partnering, we're trying to get up to touch 250 plus students by the end of the year. Wave 3 is just getting underway. We've had some tech difficulties on Papaya's end, but we're working through it. And, all the data seems to be pointing in the same direction with Decker Middle School. Manor High School. So you see green with Manor High School in almost every data set. see it with the Spring Star to the Star Interim, and then you see it in the English 1, both English 1 and English 2. And then with IXL, we use their BOY and their MOI in our reading and our math, or our English and our math. And we are seeing steady increases in the percentage of students that are on track. When you couple that with the projected increase in college and career military readiness, we believe that there is we have a strong case to make that there is going to be a nice increase in the overall accountability score for Manor High School as we head into the Spring Star. I don't know if I should stop there for questions. Maybe I'll just slide on through to the last slide and then hit any more additional questions. So I was asked to bring a little bit of information just to highlight a couple things with Papaya Tutoring. As of last week, we have logged over 5,600 hours of tutoring district-wide. And you can see that along with those 5,600 hours, what we found is when we're able to get students on and connect them with their tutor consistently, we are seeing growth. We are seeing decent growth using the IXL, BOI, and MOI parameters. We're seeing about an average of 40 plus points of growth. I do want to say we have experienced challenges with Papaya's platform and with scheduling tutors. I'm still not convinced they have enough tutors. Just going to say that out loud for the record. I've been in conversations with them pretty much every day over the last couple of weeks, and it's all hands on deck to get the final kinks worked out because we're in the end game, and we need kids to be getting their tutoring. I have shared here a table that just kind of gives you a few students as a case study of few from Shadow Glen and a few from Decker Elementary, that you can see the kind of growth we are getting when students are connecting with their tutors on a consistent basis, on a daily basis. So, that is my presentation, and hope I was as concise as the two people before me, but I think I might have gone a little bit longer.
What percentage of those students would you say are getting consistent tutorials? Off the top of your head.
So if I look at the number of students we were hoping to tutor, one of the things to consider is that they are going in waves. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. It's not all of the 600 students. If you looked at Manor High, for instance, we're hoping to get over 400 kids in by the end of the year, and that's almost every 9th grader and a lot of 10th graders. That has not happened yet. Scaling up on that level, Papaya's never done anything that big, not even close. It's been difficult and tricky. I know we're getting value out of it. In terms of a percentage of students that have been on regularly, I'm going to have to calculate that for you and bring it back. If I say anything, it's just going to be made up, so I don't want to do that.
I had a question. I believe it was 2 or 3 slides ago, the Manor High School reading IXL, there was a percentage of kids that didn't finish.
Yes.
Is there a plan to make sure that they finish?
Yes. So this is the first year that we've actually had a platform in place where we are assessing them, BOI, MOI, and it's been EOCs or nothing. And this is the first year we're like, hey, you got another assessment too. And it's been a learning curve at the middle school as well, getting people on and getting the testing finished and extending the deadlines and the windows and finally saying, you know what, we're done for now. If you'll notice, it's less prevalent, also less prevalent at the elementary level, but you add up the percentages, they don't add up to 100% because there is it's a loose, but there is an ultimate time. It's time to how much before you're just you're incomplete. You didn't finish the test. So it's supposed to be 45 to 60 minute test. And we ended up in the math test giving 90 minutes total. And students weren't always coming back. And there was some attendance pieces where students started and then were out during the makeups. But also if after 90 minutes you're not done, you would get an incomplete. and then it shows up as an incomplete, and I could have shared the incomplete data. It didn't seem as fun on the slides or, as useful. But I was worried you'd be asking me a question about you in particular, why it doesn't add up to 100. So I'm a little disappointed. I was ready for you.
Stacey
I was
beat me to
grilling
the
Dr. Doyle
conversation.
over here to make sure I knew. Anyway, but thank you for asking that question. We do need to just work on the routines and the behavior of, you have this diagnostic assessment as well, and we're all taking it, and we're getting there. But the first in particular, was not as high as we would have liked.
I appreciate that question, Stacy, because if we are looking at these percentages as far as those who were actually present and able to complete the assessment, then that would slightly skew the data as well, given the demographics that are more likely to be present consistently or complete an assessment. So just things to consider. Dr. Bentz, as far as looking at some of that AMIRA data with English versus Spanish at our elementary campuses, and I don't expect you to have this answer right this second.
I may, who knows?
But I'm curious what the systematic process for LCAP meetings prior to STAR is going to be to determine what language they test in, because it looks like that may be a pretty big factor in how well they do, what language they're most comfortable in academics-wise with STAR.
Yes, and I think I do have an answer for that. So first of all, even just looking at the data as it sits, again, grain of salt, because there are, in the Spanish testing data, there's English speakers in there. Any of our English speakers who are in two-way dual language, they are in there. And we were having a lot of trouble. You may have noticed, but we actually did change the, I'm not going to go back to the other slides, but I just recently, as in this morning, updated the AMIRA data for the Spanish testers, and then we went ahead and updated the English testing data as well, because AMIRA has just been continuing to update actually how they assess and then how they communicate the data out and how they display it with the Spanish. But so I've been having all that to say is it's very difficult to tease out the Spanish speakers taking the Spanish test versus the English speakers taking the Spanish test, and then vice versa in the English test, who are the heritage English speakers versus who are the second language learners that are taking the English test. And we've been really Dr. Doyle and her team have been working super hard already on working with campuses to figure out so that we do get the right students testing in the language that's going to lead to the best results for them. And so the whole thing around categorizing students and figuring out where they are in terms of the LPAC process has been a tremendous lift and resulting in a lot of improvement with the data across the district this year, with the level of training for our campus folks to ensure that they are coded correctly in PEIMS, and they've worked super hard on it. And it's been kind of hard on them too, but we're getting there. We spent a lot of time on it. And so I think exactly what you're saying, and we're already having those conversations, that ensuring that students test in, figuring out the best language for them to test in is going to be key and could result in multiple points of increase for each of the campuses, but more importantly, success for the students individually. And that was a long answer. I'm sorry for that.
And the same thing at the high school level, making sure kids are testing in the appropriate level.
I think it's even more of it has been more of an issue in the past at high school as you get in the upper grades more so than at elementary, so it'll be absolutely essential. And the team is working on that too. And I'll give you, if possible, I'm not sure what an update would look like, but I'll look at what we can put together for a trustee folder for Friday.
I just have a quick question on, is it about 1,000 students or a little over 1,000 students using, or you're trying to get papaya tutoring there?
Yeah.
I was tallying.
It's a lot, and that's just those. We have other campuses getting it too.
Okay.
And so the way we've been talking about it is it's a tremendous endeavor. And while we would love it to occur with 100% fidelity, and we're only intending on paying for what we actually, how much we tutor, and we're looking at, look, whoever gets tutored, they are bringing value. That one-to-one I talked to you about, that is happening in students' native language. To the extent that it is happening, we are seeing growth. But again, like your question earlier about the percentage of students that are on regularly, it has not been over 1,000 to date, for sure. So I'll bring some of that information.
And just a reminder that by law, we're required to offer tutoring, and so we were going to have to offer tutoring no matter what. And so this is the process they're doing into logging those hours. Although we're giving tutoring for students also who don't necessarily have to have the tutoring based on the law that keeps changing, and I can never remember what number it is. It used to be HB 4545, but it's something else now.
1416.
When we are sticking to the one-to-one model, and so we've been pretty adamant about that. I think that's where we'll get the most bang for a buck per student. Are we able to hit every single one of the students that we identified in partnership with Papaya? If we do, that would be pretty amazing. If we can even get like 65–70% of the way there, I think we'll be very happy with I know we'll be very happy with the results. That's just me being honest.
Okay. Good. Thank you. And what do we have next? Thank you so much. All right. So now we're on to 10.4, CPM number 2.1, Progress Monitoring Report. If, I know we all had our presentations given to us with the whole beforehand. If there's no questions from our trustees, I can move on to 10.4, 10.5. Okay, no questions on, so we'll move on to 10.5, Bond 2019. Do we have any questions for Mr. Mendez? We also have the presentation. No? All right, we are moving. Yeah. And
we've all had this since January, since
Yes.
all this was updated in board book, so.
We'll move on to 10.6, the required annual racial profiling report. We also had the presentation given to us beforehand. We have any questions from Chief Yarbrough, from any of our trustees? Hearing none, we'll move on to 10.7, monthly financial report, January and February.
And trustees, if you have any questions for Mr. Santiago on the two reports, if not, I do have just a teaser for March 2nd since.
Jesus.
Oh no, where'd it go? There it is.
Sorry, it sounded bad, right?
It's okay. So yes, anybody who wants to join us on March 2nd, we're going to be talking money and budget. It's going to be our first look at the 26-27 budget. And so I wanted to start us off by just a quick reminder of where we came from. And I think some of these things I put up there were hard decisions that these trustees and the former board had to make, and we all had to do. But they resulted in some positives for the districts. And I think it's important to know how we got to where we are. Because we're in a new territory. And I guess what really started me off this, I continually get stopped in the hallway and asked, okay, so what are we going to do to balance the budget? I says, well, we're going to balance the budget. That's like the norm now. There is no not balancing the budget. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have all the money in the world. We're going to have to shift things around if we want things. But balancing the budget is just normal now. There's no other thing about that. And so I did want to point out just some of these items up here that people may not be aware of because they date back some time ago. While closing milk was not a fun thing to do and certainly not a thing we'd like to do, there were the savings, and our PK enrollment has increased significantly since that time. That second thing right there where we repurposed Wild Horse Elementary School, while we didn't actually save the money, we didn't spend the money that it cost to open it. Opening an elementary school just for the staffing year over year is about $1.2 million we would have had to add to the budget. Instead, we are using it for a number of purposes. And one of the interesting things that doesn't come out of that is you'll see the recidivism rate of students in the DAP has been cut in half. There's a whole list of positive metrics on that. I didn't want to fill this up, but everything from attendance is up to discipline referrals is down. And I think a lot of that has to do, speaking of bond, I can't get away from it. When you give kids good facilities that they're proud of, they live up to it. And those kids, I think, are living up to that facilities for the most part.
Dr. Sermani,
Yes, ma'am.
while I definitely understand recidivism, could you provide a little description in
Yes.
normal terms?
The kids aren't coming back after they go there once. So we count how many times they come back during the school year. So if you go there once and then you come back a second time, you're counted as in that percentage. And so it used to be 15% of the students who went there came back again. And so now that's down to 8%, a turnaround rate. And so that rate is very good that we've reduced it that much. And hats off to the staff over there as well and Ms. Morales.
Yeah, that's a fantastic data point.
Thank you for that question.
I also want to point out, while we never like to cut positions, we did have a lot of uncertified teachers that we went ahead and let go in order to balance the budget. And remember, these are teachers that were not making progress towards their certification. But one of the things that I want to point out as an offshoot of that, and I don't think people realize this, our uncertified teacher rate is now 7.5%. Most of those are CTE teachers who get certified through because of their industry experience. But you'll notice statewide, the uncertified rate is 12%, and urban charter schools, which is the charter schools around us, run at 80% uncertified. I don't know that people know that. Obviously, they don't have to follow the state law that says you can't have uncertified teachers, but I think I would put the quality of our staff up against them any day. Then finally, the administrative expenditures. We are currently running 0.6% below the average of similar districts. While I know it was a struggle for a lot of people to pick up new work and new jobs, it was a necessary thing, and we have the benefit of being able to say that our administrative costs are lower than most districts. Now, I don't know why that says number one, number one, number one. Maybe that's because they're all important. Those are just how we guide ourselves with our budgetary goals, which you'll see this again on Monday. And from that, we have guiding principles. These have not changed much. I did get some feedback from some staff at the district advisory team that want to make sure that we invest not just in the skills, but the support of our staff. And so we added that on there as well. But these are principles that guide us in making budget decisions. And I put these up here, 5 areas that we want to address in the budget in some way, shape, or form. How we're going to address that and how we can address that, well, that's the magic question. And so I just put that up there so that everybody knows what we're up against and what we need to accomplish. So that is the budget teaser. If you want to get the numbers, you got to come on Monday or watch. You can watch it online too. So we will get those numbers to you with estimated revenue and expenditures coming up. I'll end with this. While our attendance rate is up, we do have less students than we did last year. And so that is having an impact on our budget. And so that goes back to saying there are things we want, that's great, but we're going to have to give up something to get it, and as a community. And so we're going to keep that in mind as we move forward.
Do we know where our student, or do we know how or where our students are at? How are we tracking? How do we
I've
know?
been actually been looking at that. I need to refine the data some more. In fact, I was looking at it today, looking at a 3-year trend to see, although still the largest majority of where our students go, who have left us recently, I should say, is to other public schools, districts. Now, there's a lot of evidence to say it's not, they're just hopping over the boundary. They're moving, like economics. For some reason, they are picking up and going somewhere. So that is what I'm seeing right now. A lot of people ask me about vouchers and private school vouchers. I don't see that. I do hear from charter schools, they're getting hammered. And that didn't surprise me because the way I put it, I think we have 4,000 school-age children within the boundary of Manor ISD that do not attend Manor ISD. Many of those are in charter schools. Those are people who have already opted out of the public school system. Those are the ones taking the vouchers, which is why it doesn't appear to be impacting us like it has maybe in some other places. So that's what I'm seeing now. But again, I'm trying to refine the data and clean up some things that I saw that needed some refinement going back a couple years so I can have better trend lines.
Okay. We'll move on to 10.8, quarterly investment report. Does any trustee have questions to Mr. Santiago? All right. We'll move on to 11.1 through 11.14, consent agenda item. Do you have a motion? Go ahead.
I move that the board approve consent agenda items 11.1 through 11.14 as presented.
I have a motion by trustee Rodriguez Barnett to approve consent agenda items. Do I have a second? I have a second by both trustee Dr. Lowry and Patterson. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. We're going to move on to action item 12.1, consideration and approval of policy GKD local facilities usage. Do I have a motion for 12.1?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the GKD local facilities policy as presented.
I have a motion by trustee Dr. Lowry. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second by,
I have a comment as
Yeah,
well
by-
before we vote.
yes, by trustee Howard. We have discussion. First discussion is trustee Martinez.
So I'm not going to support it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I can't support a policy that essentially asks the taxpayer to foot the bill for an organization without providing any real evidence of need. So the way I see it is if they're charging their participants, then they should be covering the costs. Speaking of facilities and wear and tear, things like that. So that is why I'll be voting no on this.
Do I have any other further discussion on this agenda item? All right, if there's no other further discussion, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. We have 5 in favor. All those against? 1 against. Motion passes 5-0-1. 5-1-0, sorry. 5-1, sorry. Oh, still trying to get used to that. All right, we'll move on to item 12.2, consideration and disapproval of a resolution establishing a school period of prayer in accordance with Senate Bill 11. Dr. Sarmani, do you want to give a brief description or just on Senate Bill 11? Or were you going to do that? No? Okay.
Yep. Oh, I think some trustees wanted to have some discussion on that.
Okay. So,
Do I make the motion first?
yeah, I can take a motion for Senate Bill, for Senate Bill 11, motion 12.2.
Madam President, I move that the board disapprove the resolution establishing a school period for prayer in accordance with SB 11.
I have a motion by trustee Howard.
I
Do have a
second that.
I have a second by trustee Dr. Lowry. We're going to have discussion. Do we have discussion on this matter?
I just want the community to know that if this is adopted and should the district have litigation, the Texas Attorney General would be the one that would represent the district, and they would be able to take the financial burden of the district if there was any legal action. That's the only update that I had.
Okay, thank you, trustee Rodriguez Barnett. If there's no further discussion on this agenda item, I will take the vote. All those in favor? All those in favor of 5? All those against? All those abstain? So motion passes 5-0-1. Now we'll move on to Item 12.3, consideration and approval of the superintendent's evaluation. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the superintendent's evaluation as agreed upon in executive session.
I have a motion by trustee Patterson on item 12.3. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by both trustee Rodriguez Barnett and Howard. There's no discussion. I'll take the vote. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, confirmation of next regular board meeting is scheduled for March 30th, 2026. Anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, in honor of Dr. Thomas, who loved to take this one, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Oh,
If I could, and I know Mark out there might say we shouldn't, but if it's okay with the board, can we, the record show that Mary Thomas seconded that motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Then let the record show.
That, yes. All those in favor? We adjourn at 8:08 p.m. Jam-packed agenda for 2 months. This is great timing, great timing.
And we actually have a resolution that we're going to, any trustee wants to voluntarily sign it. We're going to read this at the services for Dr. Thomas on Saturday. The mean old Open Records Act, Open Meetings Act wouldn't let us put it on the agenda, so we have to do it this way.
So we're all signing it, and can I read it?
Sure. Why don't you bring it over here and we'll read it and then we'll let everyone sign. Or actually, it's 2 pages, so.
Okay. Okay, this is the resolution in honor of Dr. Mary Thomas, Manor Independent School District Board of Trustees, celebration of life of educational excellence and service. Whereas Dr. Mary L. Thomas devoted her life to the noble profession of education, serving students, families, and colleagues with unwavering commitment, integrity, and compassion. And whereas Dr. Thomas exemplified excellence in scholarship, earning advanced degrees and distinctions that reflected both her intellectual rigor and her steadfast belief in transformative power of education. And whereas throughout her more than 40 years in public education, Dr. Thomas championed academic achievement, equity, and opportunity for all students, ensuring that each child, regardless of circumstance, was seen, supported, and challenged to reach their highest potential. And whereas Dr. Thomas's contribution to public education included service as a teacher, principal, central office administrator, and as a Manor ISD trustee since 2022. And whereas Dr. Thomas served as a mentor and role model to educators and leaders, fostering professional growth, innovation, and a culture of collaboration that strengthened the entire educational community. And whereas her leadership was marked by vision, wisdom, and humility, inspiring those around her to pursue excellence, not only in their work, but in their character. And whereas Dr. Thomas's contributions extended beyond the classroom and campus, enriching the broader community through advocacy, partnership, and service. And whereas her legacy lives on in the countless students whose lives were touched by her encouragement, the educators she mentored, and the institutions she helped to strengthen. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees and Superintendent honor and celebrate the extraordinary life and educational achievements of Dr. Mary L. Thomas, and be it further resolved that we express our deepest sympathy to her family, friends, colleagues, and all who were touched by her life. And be it further resolved that we commit ourselves to carrying forward her legacy of excellence, equity, and unwavering dedication to students. And be it finally resolved that this resolution be presented to the family of Dr. Mary L. Thomas as a lasting tribute to her remarkable life and enduring impact. Signed this 23rd day of February 2026. Thank you.